3-0. Last video, went ahead and shared this free KJK VIP MLB play props ticket that you're seeing on the screen. That helped my friend Ed the Fred turn 100 into 600 over in the KJK Premium Discord, guys. We had that Will Warren over 27.5 pitcher fantasy score, the Aaron Judge over 9.5 hitter fantasy score, and the Hayden Birdsong over 4.5 strikeouts. Came on and shared that one for you for free. Bunch of members turning profits out with that ticket. We had CLTI with a nice 530 into 3180. We had Ackley 08 with a nice 20 into 120. We had Ed the Fred with that 100 into 600. We had Moolas World with the 35 into 875, rocking with those same MLB picks. We had JC80 cashing in, turning a nice 15 into 90. So looking to keep it going here on the channel with you guys today. Once again, I will be sharing it for free. And we swept two more plays yesterday, WNBA and CS2. So there's a lot more going on over there. We had Johnny turning the nice 5 into 30 with that WNBA play. We had the Burton over 4.5 assists, Salon over 13.5 points and rebounds, in the Stevens rebounds. So he cashed in JC80 once again with those same three plays, turning 10 into 60 bucks. We had this 3-pick that I provided to my lower tier actually as well, the launch off member package. Big win here for my friend Blizzy954. Big profits. He's paying me $9.99 a month, and he just won $489.35. Using those same props. We had CLTI once again cash in with the 5 into 30, 15 into 119 with those CS2 plays over on the Underdog platform. And we had Miami Go Canes cashing in, turning 50 into 300 there. So we've been on quite a roll here, coming on the channel, sharing it with you guys for free. It's a phenomenal time to hop over in the Premium Discord if you haven't already. I come on to give you guys as much free value as possible in this free content. If you enjoy, guys, would be greatly appreciated on my end if you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you'd watch this all the way through, leave a comment down below and share with a friend if you're enjoying, because YouTube is not pushing my videos out very effectively right now, apparently. I had someone comment on a recent video, something along the lines of he finally uploaded. I've uploaded pretty consistently. Well, for a couple weeks now, I've been back. So very clearly, these videos are not being put in front of my audience. So if you're someone that enjoys this video, I'd really appreciate it if you leave a like, leave a comment, and watch all the way through. Let's talk about it. I got 3 more plays for you here today. Same thing as last video. We're going to look to keep this run going. We'll go game by game, pick by pick, as we always do. And these plays are going to be available on the Prizepicks platform and the Underdog Fantasy platform is the last thing I'll mention. Okay, guys? So if you do not have Prizepicks, go ahead and use the promo code KJKDFS. You can use my link down below. They will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 with the promo code KJKDFS. Once again, the link down below will make it nice and easy on you. So you just zoom right in. You get that promo code automatically applied, and you get that bonus. And as far as the Underdog Fantasy platform, they will give you all the way up to $1,000 if you do not have the Underdog Fantasy platform with the promo code KJKDFS. My link down below. I checked before the recording. All 3 of these plays are going to be available on both platforms. A 3-pick power play on both platforms will give you 6x your money. So if one of them changes or takes down, one or multiple of these props, we can head on over to the other one, hopefully, and lock in there. So if you want to have as many resources as possible in these 2 platforms, we'll pay you 6x on your 3-pick entries, which is pretty optimal. Prizepicks just changed that. It's a really big deal. So first play is going to be in this Atlanta Braves-Milwaukee Brewers game. We got a 4.38 implied total for the Atlanta Braves. Not the largest total, but really, it's just a specific bat in this one with some good odds that we can be locking in today on the Prizepicks platform. And who am I talking about? Who's that going to be? Well, it's going to be Mr. Marcell Ozuna. One of the tools I'm using every day to find the very best plays on these apps, guys, is going to be the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. I come on this free content, try to help you guys out as much as possible, be as transparent as I can be about, some of the tools I'm using in the process. These are the tools that I'm using to help my members every single day in that Discord that I just talked about, my YouTube community page. You're seeing all those wins. Ozuna over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Popping on the GGF Optimizer. 25% off of my link down below if you're interested. This is going to bring in multi-million-dollar sportsbook data into an optimizer and tell you the percentage of your chances of hitting the prop, whether it's on the over or the under. We don't care on this channel. All that we care about is we're taking the side of the prop that's most likely to hit, which is going to be the over here today for Mr. Marcell Ozuna. So simply put, we're getting a good deal as far as taking the over on a player props app such as a Prizepicks, because we'd have to pay all the way up to -130 or pretty much across the entire market for this prop. And then we go ahead and we pull up, once again, another tool that I'm using, Outlier. Bring them in. They'll give you 7 days completely free for this tool. And they have this same exact concept with a bunch of underlying metrics. The implied probability, that percentage that it's going to hit, is brought into this right row here. I do like to go ahead and sort it by that implied probability. The same concept, right? To bringing in that multi-million-dollar sportsbook data and then spitting out a percentage for you to hit. Outlier giving us a 54% chance to hit on the over. Why is that? Because he's listed at -130 on DraftKings, -130 on BetMGM, -130 on Hard Rock. Prizepicks in a 5 or 6 pick flex at the -119 is going to be the best possible place you can place this. He's all the way up to -139 sleeper. Every single one of these, books with millions of dollars invested is favoriting his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So they know the matchup. They know the odds of him going the over the 1.5. And then I always do like to look at the underlying metrics. I get real detailed on the channel if you're new here. It's the full package. I'm doing a ton of research and goes in behind each and every single one of my plays. Okay, so it's the sports book data. We want to get the best price. We also want to make sure it's a good matchup. It's on the road here in Milwaukee. As far as the hitting environment in Milwaukee tonight, we can go ahead and bring up the Milwaukee spray chart here for their ballpark, Milwaukee Brewers. You can see Miller Park is a respectable hitting environment. Nothing like crazy. Not the best hitting environment in baseball or anything like that, but it's pretty decent across the board, especially to those those right-handed hitters down that left field line. I mean, it plays pretty neutral up the middle. I don't know, man. It's short porch and right. It's just neutral across the board. I mean, I'm not going to try to sit here and tell you it's that much better, but you can see the green on the left side for the doubles as compared to the right side, being red with those triples in the gap. It's yellow out and left. Marcell Ozuna is a right-handed hitter that pulls the baseball, so we'll take every piece of edge we can get. You get what I'm saying with this spray chart. It does appear that the balls in the gap to left field do have a tendency to fall a little bit easier with the triples and the doubles, which doesn't hurt our feelings. And then we look at the matchup here tonight. Who is he taking on? What are the underlying metrics for the opposing pitcher here tonight? And Quinn Priester. And he just really doesn't miss bats. He's only got a 16% K rate to the right-handed side of the plate, which is Ozuna. He's a right-handed hitter. Only a 13% K rate to the left side of the plate. So the ball should be put in play early and often. Marcell Ozuna's only weakness really is his strikeout rate. He is a guy that can hit the baseball very far, a lot of power, but he does strike out quite a bit. So being that he is facing a low strikeout pitcher, that should help him with that 23.2% K rate on the season. Be able to put the ball in play. He does have a 364 weighted on base average and a 171 isolated power metric versus right-handed pitching this season. If we go current and last season, you can see even more data brought in. He's all the way up to a 239 isolated power metric and a 390 weighted on base average. So the guy can mash the baseball, long story short. He is a power hitter. He can hit the ball in the gap. Really, his weakness is the strikeout. And Quinn Priester doesn't really, get a lot of strikeouts. So that's all factored into those, those odds that I discuss on this channel. But we do our research around here. People seem to always be concerned, if they're new to the sports player props world, and I just talk about price tags. They think there's no research going into it. They don't understand that there's a market that does a bunch of research and sets a price on the over and under. They don't understand these things. So I combine all of the above to help you out find the very best plays on these apps. And once again, it is the hits, runs, and RBIs prop here for Marcell Ozuna. So you just go to the hits, runs, and RBIs category, scroll on down, and they've got him on the Prizepicks board, and they do have him on the Underdog fantasy board. Okay, guys, so did I scroll past him here? It's insane with the goblins and everything now, how many props are on the board, but here he is, Mr. Marcell Ozuna, and you can see the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs is that prop we're rocking with the over here tonight. And I will reiterate, you can't get it on Underdog Fantasy. If for some reason it gets taken down on the the Prizepicks platform, one of the smartest things you can do is have multiple apps, be able to scroll through all of them, and be able to capture value if they change lines get removed, all of that fun stuff. You can just head on over here and lock it in on Underdog Fantasy, the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. All right, people. Continue along. We're going to head right down to the late game for these next two plays on the channel today. We're going to be talking the Athletics taking on the Angels. We got Mitch Spence taking on Jose Soriano, and we're going to be discussing both pitchers in this game. So we'll go ahead and start things off with the away pitcher for the Athletics in Mitch Spence. Mitch Spence taking on the Los Angeles Angels here tonight. Earned himself another rotation spot here with a nice performance last time out. He's going to be back as a starting pitcher, and I like his over 3.5 strikeouts here tonight, taking on an LA Angels squad. There's a bunch of different data. Once again, Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer hooking us up. He's all the way up to a minus 145 favorite to go over on DraftKings, minus 135 on the over on Caesars, minus 149 on Parlay Play. This guy's aggressively favored across the board to go over the 3.5 strikeouts tonight, and for good reason. We'll go ahead and break it down for you. Once again, he's facing the Angels. The Angels strike out a ton. Only a 3.5 pitcher strikeout prop tonight. I really like this for Mitch Spence. Not like the most fantastic talent in the entire MLB, but it doesn't matter. His prop's set at 3.5. We don't need anything, too crazy for Mitch Spence to succeed at this number here tonight. We're talking about a guy with a 25.6% K rate versus lefties on the season, a 19.1% K rate versus righties, but his swing strike stuff, his whiff percentage, all that stuff's been pretty decent across the board. He's getting swinging strikes. He's getting whiffs. His really only issue, he's not really walking guys either. Really, his only issue has been giving up a lot of power to left-handed bats. But we don't care about that for this prop. As long as he gets our strikeouts, we're going to be happy. We don't care if he gives up runs. As long as he doesn't get completely blown up and taken out of the game too early, and he gets his over 3.5 strikeouts, we're going to be happy. And I think he's going to do that pretty easily here tonight, man. I'm going to be honest. We're talking about a guy with a 27% K rate at the top of the order for Nito. Trout, 25% for Ward, 37% for Taylor, 34% for Ohapi, 23% for Odell, 36% for Kingery at the bottom of the lineup. This entire lineup up and down strikes out a ton. We don't need anything that crazy out of Spence. Go out there, throw a few innings, get us 4 strikeouts. I really feel confident about that tonight. Where his number is set. Once again, we're getting a good number on it. These sports books are aggressively favoring his over, and everything's matching up here. The data, the underlying metrics, the fact that the Athletics really need somebody to go out there and throw a few innings. Their starting pitching has been terrible. They're just flip-flopping their rotation around. They're dealing with a bunch of injuries right now. I think they let Mitch Spence go out there and throw a decent amount here tonight. Try to get him 5 innings at least. And I think he surpasses his prop pretty easily. And then we flip it to the other side. It's the same story here. We're dealing with an Athletics team dealing with a bunch of injuries. I mean, they're just going down left and right. Injuries across the board for their lineup. Injuries for their pitching staff. I mean, it's just been a train wreck for the Athletics right now. And Jose Soriano, a guy that really struggles with control. But this is the type of matchup he needs to succeed because the Athletics, they aren't very patient. They're hurt. They have guys with a lot of really heavy strikeout rates. So we will be discussing the Soriano K-prop here as well today. We bring him up into the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Full transparency, this has changed since I locked this prop in. I still feel completely fine with it, but the DGF Optimizer was really popping on this prop prior to recording because he was listed up at 5.5 in multiple markets. Looks like that may have changed. Another tool that I'm using every single day. When this happens, I really need to get detail-oriented. Luckily, another, sponsor of the program, our friends over at OddsJam. Once again, they'll hook you up with a sweet deal, 35% off of my link down below. These are all the tools I'm using. This is the full process. I talked about that Marcell Ozuna prop. I have him brought in here. You can see across the board, minus 130, minus 143 on the over here on Betson and BetSafe. Aggressively favored. We already kind of broke that prop down, but you can see even more details. The best possible place you can get this is on Underdog Fantasy in a 6-pick based upon those odds. So there's just a little bit of a, a sneak peek behind the scenes of, the process and what I'm looking at. That's the data on the Ozuna prop. Jose Soriano is the guy we wanted to talk about here, though. And you can see across the board here for Soriano, we're looking at average odds of minus 120.9 on the over, minus 120 on Circa. He's minus 119 over on Pinnacle, minus 126 on the over here across the board. And I was seeing him, he's all the way up to minus 149 on the over on Sleeper here, aggressively favoring his over. So we like to see that. We want to see as many markets favoring his over as possible. And like I said, when I locked this in, I had seen him listed up to 5.5 aggressively favored on the under on some markets, which really pops to me when there's a guy listed all the way up at, you know, an entire strikeout higher in the strikeout market. It's a pretty big deal. So I just want to be transparent about that. That was really popping to me when I locked that in, and that was a big reasoning. But we look at the underlying metrics. The same thing is going to stand here as far as the, you know, the Athletics and their current strikeout rates. Look at this. I mean, it's a lot of strikeouts. I mean, we're looking at some minor league bats essentially filling out this lineup right now with some injuries. You got Max Muncy in the heart of the lineup striking out 28% of the time. Nick Kurtz just got the promotion as a, you know, a big power hitter, but a 34% strikeout rate. Soderstrom, 23.5% strikeout rate. Brent Rooker, 23.6% strikeout rate. Lawrence Butler, 23.4. You got 26 at the bottom of the lineup in the new call-up, and Willie McIver. You got Blade with a 22.8% K rate. If we look at the, you know, the last two seasons, just a ton of strikeouts through the heart of this order, guys. And then we go ahead and we bring in the data for Soriano. Once again, I mean, he's got pretty good metrics across the board. Not the best of swinging strike stuff, but he's pretty good versus right-handed hitting in particular at getting those swings and misses. And then the left-handed side of the plate, still decent. I mean, getting guys to whiff at a 20% rate, but he needs a little bit more help from those left-handed bats. And I think that this is the matchup where he can get that help, as discussed with this Athletics lineup, looking the way that it is with the injuries that they're facing. Yeah, it's looking like a really good matchup here for Soriano. I will reiterate there was some data being brought in that he had an entire K prop higher than the 4.5 here tonight. But I think Soriano's able to go out there and succeed in this matchup with a lot of guys displaying a high K rate. We will be locking in him as well. So we talked about it. The second prop was the Mitch Spence strikeouts. Down at the bottom here, both of these players are featured in the Los Angeles Angels, and it looks like Mitch Spence got moved up to 4. So that's what's going to happen when you get good value. That was one of my favorite plays. He's going to need 5 strikeouts now to pass that, which is kind of what happened. Soriano still is listed at 4.5. I will say again, guys, if you do not have the Underdog fantasy platform, this might be, you know, a really good example of using all of your resources. Is he still available on Underdog Fantasy at the 3.5? Is Mitch Spence still available? We'll find out in real time. They altered his payout as well. So for those of you that are watching the free content, if he gets you 4, you're gonna push, which there's not as much edge, but I try to give you as much free value as possible. You can still get the Soriano prop. You can still get the Marcell Ozuna prop. Once again, you can get access to every single one of my plays as soon as they are detected over in the VIP, my premium Discord. You would have gotten that Mitch Spence strikeouts, the Jose Soriano, and the Ozuna. Same process, that went into the last video where I gave out those 3 winners, the Will Warren Fantasy Score, the Judge, the Bird Song. If you want to go ahead and, pivot to a different prop because you don't want to play the bump on Spence, I fully get that. I can't do anything about it. I apologize. But I gave you the full breakdown. You can still play it at the 4. He's going to need that 5th to go over for you. We could certainly look if his pitcher fantasy score is available, but I doubt it. Yeah. So ultimately it's up to you. You could always replace it with this taco here. The Max Fried 3.5 strikeouts discount offered over on Prizepicks today. A nice discount for you, so that could be a good option. It is, Taco Tuesday, so a nice little pivot for you with the Spence play getting moved. Could be a good option, guys. Once again, all my plays as soon as I place them over my Discord to get access to this value before it moves. There's a reason it moves. It moves because it was too good of a play. We detected the value. We attacked it at the right time. Would love to have you join. I'll have that link down below. Thank you for tuning in. Wishing you all the best of luck on your MLB player props tonight, and we will see you in the next one.